Welcome to Fridays with Frankie. Excited to be with you this week. We're studying David. Our series is called David, God's King. We say that because what we recognize is that God is the one who placed David on the throne, not man. Saul, who was the king before David and is king presently during our message, was put there by people. They wanted a king. God wanted a king for himself. In fact, he says in 1 Samuel, I will choose for myself a king. And he brings about the young shepherd David. Well, David's life's been in turmoil. He's been chased for the last 7 years by King Saul. He has a chance to kill Saul. And in a dramatic moment, he has Saul right where he wants him. And instead of killing him, all David does is cut off the hem of his garment. Later on, we're going to be in today in chapter 26, where David again has a second opportunity to take Saul out. And he doesn't do it. Watch this. In verse 15, he has pursued Saul. In fact, he's in the camp with Saul while Saul is asleep. He takes his spear and his water and then leaves without even being noticed. It's like one of those movies where you think he's going to get caught. He's going to get caught. He's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. And then David just leaves and shouts to him from the mountaintop. Watch this, verse 15. David called to Abner. Now, Abner is Saul's bodyguard. He's his warrior. Here's what he says. You're a man, aren't you? Who in Israel is your equal? So why didn't you protect your Lord, the king, when the people came to destroy him? What have you done? What you have done is not good. As the Lord lives, all of you deserve to die, since you didn't protect your Lord, the Lord's anointed. You see, David's called a man after God's own heart. And what that means is that he pursues what God wants, not what man wants. As a man, I'm sure David could have easily taken Saul out many times, as we've seen in the scriptures. But David doesn't do that because he remembers who Saul is. You see, Saul is God's anointed king. And until God takes Saul out, David wants nothing to do with it. But David wants to know that he had the opportunity once again to kill him, but doesn't because he wants to honor God. And what David's looking for is relationship. It's restitution. It is reconciliation to stop the chasing that's been going on by Saul. But Saul doesn't want anything to do with that. Saul's heart's so hardened at this point, he can't possibly see the truth. Sometimes that's what happens in our lives. There are many times when people have hurt us and we want revenge. And that's not God's heart. God's heart is for us to be humble and forgiving and to be patient and kind, even in the midst of the most difficult moments. Saul recognizes David. He says, is that you, my son? And David says, it is my voice, my Lord, my king. This is verse 17, 18. Then he continued, why is the Lord pursuing his servant? Why is my Lord pursuing his servant? You see, David just wanted an answer. Saul didn't have one. But Saul instead invites him, come closer, David. I'll forgive you. I won't harm you. Verse 21. I've been a fool. I committed grave error. But Saul just wanted to kill David, and David knew it. So David gives back his sword and leaves and never sees Saul again. Later on, Saul is killed by the Amalekites. But the point for us here today is this. A man after God's own heart isn't somebody who does evil because he wants restitution for himself. You've harmed me, therefore I'll harm you. Instead, what David sees is God's heart. He's so close to God that he knows that his righteousness does not depend on himself, but on God. And maybe that's what we need to see today. In the midst of the most difficult days of our lives that are pursuing us, sometimes it's like an enemy pursues us and we're being chased like David. Instead of wanting revenge, may we be like David and be humble and know that God's got this. This is God's battle, not ours. And I'm encouraging you today to surrender to Jesus Christ's will and way. Because when we do that, there is peace. Many times we could have destroyed our enemies with words or experiences or done something to harm them. But if we have the heart of God, as David does, we'll see a better way. We'll leave it in God's hands. And when we do that, we are becoming the righteousness of God. That's David's story. I'm encouraging you to come join us this Sunday at Trinity Point Church at the link at 10:30 and uncover this passage and many others with me as we see how David lived out God's heart for himself and for the kingdom of Israel, that God would honor him with 40 years on the throne. In the midst of the most difficult things David could have done, and he's done some really difficult things, so have we, God never left David. In fact, establishes his kingdom through David, that his son would then come through the line of David, through the line of Judah, and become the Messiah, God's Messiah for his people, of which we are called. I hope this message blessed you today. Please join us this Sunday. I hope you will. If not, join us on our YouTube page at Trinity Point Church, Richland Hills, or on our website or on our app. Thank you so much. I love doing this with you. I hope you enjoy it. Send me a note every now and then. Let me know if it's blessed you or what God's doing in your life through these messages. I would love to hear from you. What an encouragement it would be for me and for our church. Thank you so much. God bless you. Hope to see you this Sunday. Have a great day.